What's up, guys? Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, and we are talking Fear the Walking Dead. Now we're just gonna be, just talking about it. We're gonna just talk about basically, my feelings about it, your guys' feelings about it. Have a heart to heart here. This show comes out later on this year, and I can't wait. I mean, the information that we're getting, it's gonna just a little bit iffy on like knowing what caused the outbreak, this virus outbreak or zombie outbreak, and just a little prequel slash. It's probably going to catch up to The Walking Dead, Rick's group's timeline, but it's just more Walking Dead, the better. I want more Walking Dead. I want different characters. It's like the Tall Tale games, I want, different kind of characters coming in. We don't have to follow Rick and his group. It's awesome, and I follow that on a TV and comic books, but it'd be great, for people like Robert Kirkman. He is heavily involved in this. Writer, producer, he'll probably direct an episode since he's directing fucking, Transformers. But, he's so heavily involved in this show, so we're going to see what kind of character he can play around. I think he has more freedom to play around with these characters and really start a different kind of story. And then you have also different kind of writers coming in and writing their own, story, each episode. So it's just going to be interesting. There's just more things to go. And also, the question is, can it be amazing? Can Fear the Walking Dead be amazing? Could it even be better or as good as The Walking Dead, its predecessor or whatever? Is the predecessor? Yeah, pretty much. Yes, it can. It can, but unlike my expectations for Fear the Walking Dead to surpass The Walking Dead is a little bit low. It's low, I will say that, but that's great. I mean, they want your expectations to be a little bit low. I mean, look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody's like, what the fuck is Guardians of the Galaxy? And your expectations were, not as high, and it was amazing. I think that really brought in, you have a fresh outlook, not knowing what the hell's going on. You go in it, you don't really know what's going to happen, and you come out loving it. Now Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has so much pressure because our expectations are so high. Fear the Walking Dead, our expectations are not very high. It could either be really great and be a surprise, or it could fail, but I don't think we would think too much of it because at least we still got The Walking Dead. But Fear the Walking Dead has that, it can be one of the greatest shows. It could surpass The Walking Dead. It can. The cast, I'm a little bit iffy about. I mean, we have Cliff Curtis playing Travis, a divorced teacher. You have Kim Dickinson, who I've seen her in a couple of things, but Cliff Curtis, I think, is the well-known name there, who basically, he's been in a lot of stuff. I really remember him as Pablo Escobar in Blow, and I really remember him in The Last Airbender. And I think, the cast, you can't really talk about the characters too much. You have little background information on it, but you really just can't talk about all this cast of characters. I mean, you got a divorced wife, Travis' divorced wife in the lineup. Cliff Curtis, and you have Cliff Curtis playing the divorced teacher. Kim Dickens, I believe she is. Let me look up the things real quick. A guidance counselor. Frank Dillon Madison as Nick, Madison's son, who is battling a drug problem. I mean, you got all these elements in this already happening for the show, but I think you really just can't talk about the characters until you see what it's presented, like what these actors could do with this character, how they're going to present these characters, how these characters are going to be able to react to everything that's surrounding them, to their environment. I really want the zombies to be the main factor in the show. If you don't, I mean, these actors, they're kind of B-list actors, honestly. We've seen them and stuff, but they're never going to have the basically spotlight on them. They're not going to be superstars. But Cliff Curtis, this is he's been around the game. He knows what he's been in a lot of films. So this could be his big break. I mean, he could carry. This is going to be interesting for him to be the main protagonist and him carrying the show. I mean, we have Andrew Lincoln who came out of nowhere and he's able to carry it. So these actors could be household names at the end of all this. Who knows? But I really do want more focus on the zombies being more deadly and more just maybe in an evolution of some kind, really some spins, maybe some things that we haven't, Rick isn't dealing with that this group has to deal with, especially that it's set in Los Angeles. So like a Resident Evil kind of factor, the mutation, whatever that can happen to them. I mean, because they're in different kind of parts right now. And I think there's a lot of things that are happening elsewhere other than where Rick is that you can't explain. So hopefully they play with that factor. Man, I hope the soundtrack is a lot different than The Walking Dead. I hope we get some great music. I hope we get more of a score than actual tracks that are being laid, that people make, that they're showcased on the show. I would really love a great, phenomenal score, and I think that's where it could really just boot The Walking Dead out of it if it has a great score. This show could be something really, really special. It just falls down to writing. Is the writing going to be awesome? And acting. Is it going to be great? Is it not going to be goofy? Is it not going to be cheesy? Is it going to be kind of realistic? I think Fear the Walking Dead needs to be as horrific, as possible. I think it definitely needs to play the horror aspect a lot. I think a lot of horror fans want horror. The Walking Dead, it tends to not be consistent. It could be action, it could be horror, it could be drama. I think Fear the Walking Dead, if you have fear in your title in the very beginning, I think it needs to just maintain that horror aspect. It really needs not to really be scary, but be horrific with imagery, with brutality. I mean, George. I want to say George. See, Game of Thrones. You, Romero basically did a phenomenal. He's the one. He's the creator, man. He's the one that knew how to fucking set that tone. So I'm looking forward to basically Fear the Walking Dead and setting its tone. And I think it needs to be a different kind of tone than The Walking Dead's going. It needs to stay consistent. It needs to stay one tone. Horror, I think horror is the way to go. I want to see it different. I want to see a difference between this show and The Walking Dead. But you can have it set in the same universe. It could be set in the same universe. You just need writing. You just need different circumstances. And these characters, this cast of characters are, what is it? It's maybe a freaking cannibals among them. These characters could be something very interesting. We don't know anything about them. Maybe Travis, maybe he's our protagonist, but maybe he changes to a villain towards the end of the season or next 2 seasons. Who knows? I just can't wait for the Fear of the Walking Dead. It has a chance to. Every show has a chance to surpass the next. I mean, no one knew Sons of Anarchy or Breaking Bad like that were going to be phenomenal shows, amazing shows. And they had, Bryan Cranston did great in Malcolm in the Middle, but nobody knew he had it in him in freaking Breaking Bad. And he fucking kicked ass. And then he also had Pinkman, man, Aaron Paul. Aaron Paul, no name coming in, and now everybody knows his name. They got Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy is such an awesome show, man. Awesome show. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's an awesome show. Go watch it. But this, Cliff Curtis could become that. He has a chance. It's very unlikely, but he has a chance to maybe be that household name and really put in a performance that nobody thought he had it in him. So, Fear the Walking Dead, I'm looking forward to it. It does have my expectations a little bit low, but it does have a chance to surpass The Walking Dead. It just all comes down to really writing and acting, and then everything else falls behind, like production, budget, soundtrack, production design. just overall tone, pacing, editing. Editing is a big factor as well. So can't wait to see where this is headed. There's not too much to talk about until we see the actual series, until we see these characters interact with each other, until we see what tone is set. It does look like with the little teaser that we got that it may be just another, action slash drama slash horror series, just like its counterpart, The Walking Dead. But hopefully we do get something different. Hopefully they do say, listen, or Robert Kirkman says, listen, that's The Walking Dead, but we could play around and do something really special with this series. Let's make it its own kind of name. Let's have people talking about these two shows equally as hype. I think the first season of The Walking Dead is amazing. I think season 2 was pretty good, and I think along the way there's some amazing moments in the like season 3, 4, and 5 of The Walking Dead, and then this this next upcoming season I think has a chance to be amazing as well. So I mean, as much as I look forward to The Walking Dead next season, I think I'm looking forward to this just to see what they do with it. So thank you guys for listening. What do you guys think? Do you guys think there's no way this could surpass The Walking Dead? And rightfully so. I mean, like I said, it's highly unlikely this will surpass The Walking Dead, but it still has that chance. There's always a chance, and there's always room for something new. So, somewhat the same, but changing it up to create something new, so to speak. So thank you guys for listening. Subscribe, like, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys until another time we talk about The Walking Dead. See you guys. I am out.